And I hope you all are doing well. Today we are on the next video in number system. We are going to learn about operations, how operations on real numbers are done, and then follow up with the exercise 1.5. Alright, so before starting the exercise, what do we need to know? We are going to let's first talk about irrational numbers. What were irrational numbers? Let's see a few examples. Let's recall it. Irrational numbers examples would be root 2, root 3, pi, root 41, root 57, and so on. All those numbers whose decimal expansion is non-terminating and non-recurring are irrational numbers. Second, we have rationals. What are rational numbers? Any number that can be represented in p by q form, where p and q are supposed to be integers and q should not be equal to 0. That are the two properties, main two properties of rational and irrational numbers. Now let's talk about when I perform operations on these numbers of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. First, let's consider the case where I am taking rationals and irrationals. जब हम एक नंबर रैशनल का लेंगे और एक इरेशनल का लेंगे. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दिस फर्स्ट. ठीक है, रैशनल और इरेशनल का केस जब हम ले रहे हैं, देयर वुड बी वन नंबर विच वुड बी रैशनल, द अदर वुड बी इरेशनल. द फर्स्ट केस, लेट्स कंसिडर एडिशन फर्स्ट. अब एडिशन के बारे में हम पहले बात करते हैं. लेट्स से आई हैव अ रैशनल नंबर 3, adding it with root 2. What is this number? Can I add these numbers? क्या मैं इसे ऐड कर सकती हूँ? टिल द टाइम मुझे रूट 2 की वैल्यू नहीं पता है, और रूट 2 की वैल्यू इन इटसेल्फ इज़ वेरी बिग, दैट ओनली मीन्स द नंबर फॉर्म्ड, अगर मैं इन्हें प्लस भी कर देती हूँ इनकी एक्चुअल फॉर्म्स से भी, मतलब इसकी डेसिमल एक्सपेंशन अगर मैं फाइंड आउट करके 3 के साथ प्लस भी करती हूँ, दैट ओनली मीन्स that what kind of number it is going to remain. It is going to remain an irrational number because why? Because it is going to be endless. Again, because the decimal expansion of root 2 is endless, which is why it would be non-terminating and non-recurring. Such kind of numbers are irrational in nature. Coming on to subtraction. Similarly, if I have to subtract root 2 from 3, right, which is 3 minus root 2, what is the decimal expansion for root 2? root 2 की decimal expansion क्या है हमारे पास? root 2 is 1.41421 with dots, right? Now if I add 3 to this number, 3 plus root 2 would be what? 4.41421 with dots, right? This is again non-terminating and non-recurring, which means it is an irrational number. Now if I have to subtract 3 from root 2, root 2 from 3, what is it going to become? Which is 3 minus 1.41421 and so on, because there it would be 1.58578 and so on and so on. Again, it is non-terminating and non-recurring, which only means that it is going to be an irrational number. This we are able to do because I know the values of root 2. It is the only reason हम कर पा रहे हैं. But what we are trying to do here is we are trying to generalize, ताकि हमें हर बार values नहीं निकालनी पड़े. अगर for example root 57 भी आता है तो I can leave it as root 57. and I know that adding it to a rational number would give me an answer as an irrational number only. Moving on, if I have to multiply, let's talk a case of multiplication where again I'm going to multiply 3 with root 2. 3 now multiplied by 1.41421 and with dots, the answer I'm going to get is 4.242640 with dots, which goes on again. So this number is also an irrational number, right? This is also an irrational number. The last operation that is left with us is division. Now let's look into that as well. 3 divided by root 2. 3 divided by root 2. Now let's divide 3 by root 2. What is it I'm going to get? The answer to this would be 2.1213203, so on. Alright, so this one again is an irrational number. So the answer to this, the result which I am going to get for division also is irrational number, which tells us that all these operations, when performed with a rational and irrational number, the result will always be irrational. अगर आप रैशनल और इरेशनल नंबर, एक रैशनल और एक इरेशनल नंबर को कभी भी ऐड, सब्ट्रैक्ट, मल्टीप्लाई या डिवाइड करोगे, द आंसर वुड ऑलवेज बी इरेशनल नंबर. हमेशा आंसर क्या आएगा? इरेशनल नंबर. आई होप आई एम क्लियर टिल हियर. मूविंग ऑन, let's consider the next case. What is the next case? If both the numbers are irrational. Both numbers are irrational. अगर दोनों ही numbers irrational हो, what would be the result for those? अब वो भी देख लेते हैं. First operation again would be addition. Let's take an example. For example, if I have root 3 and I want to add it to root 2, both these numbers are irrational in nature. What I'm going to get, अगर मैं इन दोनों की decimal expansion भी consider कर रही हूँ, the decimal expansion for root 3 is what? 1.73205 and so on. For root 2 we have 1.41421 with dots. If I have to add these, अब मुझे इन्हें add करना है, what will I get? I'm going to get 3.14626 and so on. This is again non-terminating and non-recurring. That means my answer to this would be irrational, right? दो irrational numbers को जब आप add कर रहे हो, the answer I'm getting is irrational. Now what if I had a negative root 3? What if I have to add this with a negative root 3? Negative irrational numbers भी तो होते हैं, right? Negative irrational numbers भी तो होते हैं. Plus minus is minus. Root 3 minus root 3 would be what? A number minus itself would be what? 0. And 0 is a rational number. 0 is a rational number. That means if I add two irrational numbers, the result can be both rational and irrational. Rational और irrational दोनों ही हो सकता है एडिशन के केस में, when I'm adding two irrational numbers. I hope इतना क्लियर है सबको. let's move to the next operation, which is subtraction. Similarly, if you will solve root 3 minus root 2, the result you are going to get is irrational. आप सॉल्व करके देख सकते हो, but if I tell you to subtract root 3 from root 3 itself, what would be my answer? 0, which is rational. Again, both the cases are possible. The answer can be irrational as well as rational. Moving on, multiplication. If I have to multiply, let's take two examples for multiplication. Root 3 when multiplied by root 2, the answer I am going to get is under root of 3 multiplied by 2, which is, it is not point or decimal, it is multiplication. The answer I am going to get is root 6. Root 6 is not a square number, so the answer is irrational. Right? What if I multiply root 3 by 0? If I multiply root 3 by 0, the answer I am going to get is 0, which is a rational number. Again, both the cases are possible, right? Then the last one is division. Root 3 when divided by root 3, the answer would be, when divided by root 3, the answer would be 1, which is rational. Root 1 is rational, right? If I have root 3 divided by 2 root 3, root 3 gets cancelled with root 3, then what is the answer that I am getting? 1 by 2. It is again a rational number, right? Now let's consider another example. If I divide root 3 by root 2, if you solve this, you are going to get another irrational number. आपको एक कौन सा नंबर मिलेगा? Irrational number. आप डिवाइड करके चेक कर सकते हो. The answer you are going to get is an irrational number. I guess यहाँ तक सबको क्लियर है. So what do we generalize from here? हम यहाँ से क्या generalize करते हैं? When you perform operations on rational and an irrational number, अगर एक rational और एक irrational number पे operations perform करोगे, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, the answer you are always going to get is, what is the answer that you are always going to get? It is an irrational number. हमेशा आंसर क्या आएगा? Irrational number. Now if you have two irrational numbers, and you perform addition, subtraction, multiplication or division on these numbers, the answer you are going to get can be either rational भी हो सकता है या फिर irrational भी हो सकता है. I hope I am clear till here. Next, the next thing that we are going to discuss is algebraic identities. What are we going to discuss next? Algebraic identities. ये identities आपने 7th और 8th क्लास में पढ़ी हैं. Let's revisit those. एक बार revisit कर लेते हैं. What are the algebraic identities? The first one being a plus b whole square, which is a plus b multiplied by a plus b is equal to what? A square plus 2ab plus b square. The second one is a minus b whole square, which can also be written as a minus b multiplied by a minus b. The result, which is a square minus 2ab plus b square. The third one that we have a plus b when there are opposite signs in the bracket, a plus b multiplied by a minus b. The result, which is a square minus b square. I hope it is clear till here. ये तीनों आइडेंटिटीज सबको रिविजिट हो चुकी हैं. वी आर गोइंग टू यूज दीज आइडेंटिटीज इन द एक्सरसाइज, सो read it carefully. The next thing that we are going to need, we are going to learn for the first time is to rationalize. Now I would like all of you to pay attention to this one. Rationalize, as the word itself signifies, rational. It tells you to rationalize. The question would be to rationalize the denominator. If you go in R.D. Sharma, the questions would be based on rationalizing the numerator as well. But right now in NCERT we are doing rationalize the denominator. Rationalizing in itself, the word itself has rational. That means you have to make the denominator as a rational number. I'll give you an example. For example, I have 1 upon root 3. Right? If I have 1 upon root 3, the denominator is, what is the denominator? Is it rational or is it irrational? The denominator is irrational. Now in this case, I am going to rationalize the denominator. How do you rationalize? मुझे इस irrational number को somehow rational number बनाना है, denominator को rational number बनाना है. ये हम कैसे करेंगे? What we'll do is, we are going to write 1 upon root 3. Now what are we going to do? We are going to multiply the numerator and denominator both by root 3. दोनों को हम किससे मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे? रूट 3. अब आप एक ही नंबर से जब आप मल्टीप्लाई डिवाइड कर रहे हो तो इट मेक्स नो डिफरेंस टू द फ्रैक्शन, डज इट? अगर आप 2/3 को दोनों को 2 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दोगे, व्हाट विल इट बिकम? 4/6. इसको हम कैंसिल करके दोबारा से 2/3 लिख सकते हैं. तो अल्टीमेटली इट मेक्स नो डिफरेंस टू द फ्रैक्शन, क्योंकि हम दोनों को ही सेम नंबर से मल्टीप्लाई और डिवाइड भी कर रहे हैं. राइट? न्यूमरेटर डिनोमिनेटर में सेम नंबर से मल्टीप्लाई कर रहे हैं, सो इट मेक्स नो डिफरेंस. तो ये हम कर सकते हैं. व्हाट आर वी डूइंग? वी आर मल्टीप्लाइंग बोथ द न्यूमरेटर एंड डिनोमिनेटर बाय रूट 3. दोनों को किससे मल्टीप्लाई कर रहे हैं? रूट 3 से. द आंसर आई एम गोइंग टू गेट इज 1 multiplied by root 3 would be root 3. Now root 3 into root 3 would be what? If you have an irrational number a and you multiply it by a rational number b, the answer would be what? A multiplied by b in the under root sign, right? So what does this become? ये क्या बन जाएगा? Root 3 divided by root 9. 3 into 3 is 9. And 9 is a square number. So what does the denominator become? Root 3 upon 3. The denominator now is a rational number. So we have successfully rationalized the denominator. I hope this is clear. We are going to do more examples in the exercise. I am giving you one more example, which is a higher version to this one. 1 upon 4 minus root 5. 1 upon 4 minus root 5. Now the denominator again is what? The denominator again is irrational. Rational minus irrational. Again from the results. Rational, any operation, it is this case rational and an irrational number. What do they become? Irrational. So this number is also what? Irrational. Irrational hai number bhi, right? Now we have to rationalize the denominator again. What are we going to do in this case? अब हम √5 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, it won't help, है ना? तो what are we going to do in this case? In cases like this, what do? We reciprocate the sign. What is the sign that I have between 4 and √5? It is minus. What am I going to do? I'm going to reverse the signs. What is opposite of minus? Plus. I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator by 4 plus √5. What did we do? We used the opposite sign, the sign that is given to us. Either हमें negative sign given है, right? So what did the sign that I use to multiply in the numerator and denominator? Plus. Numbers हमने same रखे हैं, बस sign opposite कर दिया है. अगर यहाँ पर plus होता तो we would have used minus. Okay, let's solve this. 1 multiplied by any number is a number itself. So this is 4 plus √5. यही आएगा. Denominator में what are we going to get? 4 minus √5 multiplied by 4 plus √5. Now here is where the identity comes into play. If you can see, this is this identity where A and B, where the numbers are same, A and B are same, but the signs are different in the brackets. Only the signs are different. So what does this become? क्या बन जाएगा ये? This becomes 4 plus √5 upon square of the first number, which is 4 square, minus the square of second number, which is √5, which is equal to 4 plus √5 upon 4, the square of 4 is 16, minus √5 multiplied by √5. Again, √5 multiplied by √5 is √25, and 25 is square of what? 5. So basically √5 into √5 is what? 5. So we are going to write here 5. The answer turns out to be 4 plus √5 divided by 11. That's it. These are the only things that you need to know before starting exercise 1.5. I hope everything is clear to everyone. If not, you can write in the comment section. I'll try to reply as soon as I can. And do not forget to subscribe so you can get all the updated videos. Moving on with the exercise. Okay, question number 1. Classify the following numbers as rational and irrational. इन्हें अब हमें rational और irrational की category में categorize करना है. So the first one. The first part that I have is 2 minus √5. Rational number minus an irrational number. The result is always irrational, right? As we have learned. Coming to the next one. 3 plus √23 minus √23. What does it become? What does it become? 3 plus √23 minus √23. Now this is plus the number minus the number. A number minus itself. The answer would be 0. So this is 3 plus 0 or 3. And 3 is what kind of a number? Rational. So the answer would be rational. Next. Third. I am solving it here only. √7, you have √7 here, you have √7 here. If I cancel these out, if I strike off √7 by √7, कर सकते हैं ना? The answer would be 2 by 7, and 2 by 7 is in p by q form. So this is what? A rational number. Moving on. Rational divided by irrational. The answer would always be irrational. Pi is an irrational number. multiplied by rational, what do I get? Rational multiplied by irrational. The result will always be irrational. I think now you can see जो हमने पहले पढ़ा है, how helpful that is to solve the exercise. Now we'll move to the next question. It is to simplify. Simplify. The first part we have here is 3 plus root 3 multiplied by 2 plus root 2. Now how do we solve these brackets? We'll open the first one, 3 multiplied by the second bracket. Second bracket would come as it is. Then we'll write the remaining of the first one, plus root 3 multiplied by again the second bracket. Okay, now this would become 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. Then plus, we have plus here. Then we are going to multiply 3 with root 2. 3 into root 2 is 3 root 2. Then you have plus root 3 into 2. Root 3 into 2 is 2 root 3. Then plus into plus is plus root 3 into root 2 is root 6. So the answer to the first part would be 6 plus 3 root 2 plus 2 root 3 plus root 6. Coming to the next one. Second part. In the second part we have 3 plus root 3 multiplied by 3 minus root 3. If you observe, we will be using which identity? A plus b multiplied by a minus b, where both the numbers are same, only the signs vary in the brackets. This is equal to a square minus b square. So here a is 3 and b is root 3. That's all. So this would be equal to 3 square minus root 3 whole square, which is 9. Root 3 square is root 3 into root 3. Root 3 into root 3 is 3. So 9 minus 3 is what? 6. I hope it is clear. It is very easy if you go through the identities first. उसके बाद सिर्फ put in करनी है identities. Nothing else has to be done. Let's go for the third part. The third part we have here is root 5 plus root 2 whole square. Root 5 plus root 2 whole square. How do we solve this? ये कैसे solve करेंगे हम? Again we are going to use identity. If you notice, this is same as a plus b whole square, which is equal to what? A square plus 2ab plus b square. Here a is equal to root 5 and b is equal to root 2. Let's put the values in. What do I get? Root 5 whole square, a square plus 2 multiplied by root 5 multiplied by root 2, which is b, then square of root 2, which is b square. Root 5 into root 5 is 5 plus 2 multiplied by root 5 into root 2 is root 10 plus root 2 square, which is root 2 into root 2 is 2. So the answer I am going to get is 7 plus 2 root 10. Easy. Let's go for the fourth part, last part of this question. What is it? Root 5 minus root 2, root 5 plus root 2. Root 5 minus root 2, root 5 plus root 2. If you can observe, the numbers are same, only the signs vary in the brackets. So what is the identity that we are going to use? This one. which is using a plus b multiplied by a minus b, which is equal to a square minus b square. A here is root 5 and b is what? Root 2. So what do I get? क्या मिलेगा हमें? Root 5 whole square minus root 2 whole square. Root 5 into root 5 is 5 minus root 2 into root 2 is 2. So the answer I am going to get is 3. I hope इतना तक clear है सबको. Let's move to the next question. Question number 3 we have, recall pi is defined as a ratio of circumference of a circle to its diameter. That is, pi is equal to circumference divided by diameter, right? This seems to be contradict the fact that pi is irrational. How will you resolve this contradiction? How do you calculate the circumference of a circle if you do not have the formula? What do? We take a thread, align it with the length of the circle, with the boundary of the circle, and calculate the length to the scale. Calculate the length of the thread that you used on the scale. Now the scale does, we have seen how do you represent decimal expansions on a scale, which is not possible to get an accuracy where 22 by 7 is what? 3.142857 with a bar. Obviously 7 ki expansion may we have a bar because it is a rational number. But what is the value of pi? It is 3.14159 and so on. The decimal expansion of pi is this, because it is approximately the same value. We use the formula where pi is derived from the ratio of circumference of the circle to its diameter. I hope I am clear. So there is no contradiction to this. They are approximately near to each other, and the scale doesn't give very much of an accuracy when it comes to a number with a lengthier decimal expansion. The accuracy is not very much, we cannot rely on that, but it is mostly accurate because it is only after 2 decimal places that the numbers differ. I hope it is clear. Let's move to the next one. Represent root 9.3 on the number line. I'll tell you the rough way in which we'll do it, and then we are going to do it with proper measurements. We are going to draw a line segment of 9.3 centimeters. Mark this as AB. Then what are we going to do? We are going to extend this line segment by just 1 centimeter and mark this point as C. Then we'll find out center of AC. We'll find out center of AC and mark this point as D, which is midpoint of AC. AC का midpoint हम find out करेंगे. Then taking radius as AD, I am going to draw a semicircle. Don't mind it, it is a rough sketch. We are going to do it with measurements afterwards. Then okay, so we are going to draw a semicircle like this, which passes from point A and C. Then we are going to draw a line segment such that it joins the surface of the semicircle with point B, and where it intersects with the boundary of the circle, let's name that point as E. What are we going to do next? Extending this number line, I am going to take radius as BE and mark an arc on the number line. The point where this arc intersects with the number line is where root 9.3 lies. I hope I am clear. Let's do it with the measurements now. Drawing a line segment with the length 9.3 centimeter like this, marking the line segment as AB. Now extending this line segment by 1 centimeters from point B. We are going to draw 1 centimeters from point B. As you can see, we are extending it by 1 centimeters only, and mark this point as the new point as C. Now opening, what do we do next? We open a compass of length of radius more than half of AC and make a perpendicular bisector of AC. We are making a perpendicular bisector of AC so that I can have midpoint of AC. ऐसे बनाते हैं perpendicular bisector, right? Now we'll join both the points that we have found like this. The point where this line intersects AC is the midpoint of AC. We are marking that point as D. Now taking radius as AD, I am going to make a semicircle. What are we going to make? A semicircle which passes through A and C. Since D is the midpoint, तो वो A और C दोनों से pass करेगा, right? Now next we are going to put a D protector on point B and mark 90 degrees and extend my line segment such that it touches the boundary of the semicircle at point E. Now we are going to extend our number line like such. Point B will be marked as 0 from where our number line would start, and C because it is 1 centimeter away, and it will go on, right? So I can have root 9.3 on the number line. उसके लिए number line चाहिए, right? This is how the number line will be formed. Then we are going to take a protector and taking radius as BE, which represents under root 9.3. I am going to make an arc on the number line. The point where this arc intersects the number line shows under root 9.3. I hope you all have understood till here. Now, have you wondered why did we draw an arc using radius as BE? Why did we use radius as BE and not some other line segment? Let's see a reasoning to this. Why did we use it? Since this was a straight line, this would be a 90-degree angle. What if I join D and E? This would be a right angle triangle, right? This would be a right angle triangle where DE is the hypotenuse and DB is the base with perpendicular as BE, right? और हमने BE की लेंथ को लिया है as radius and we made an arc assuming that was under root of 9.3. Now let's see why did we do it like that. Okay, DE is the radius of the semicircle, right? DE is the radius of the semicircle. What is the radius of the semicircle? It was half of this length, half of AC. What was the radius? Of the semicircle? It was half of AC, right? What was the length of AC? Length of AC is 9.3 plus 1, which is 10.3. 10.3 divided by 2. What do I get? 5.15, right? So length of DE will be equal to 5.15 centimeters. And what would be the length of DB? अगर मुझे DB की length निकालनी है, what it would be? Length of DB will be equal to DC minus BC. It would be DC minus BC. What was the length of DC? What is the length of DC? It is again the radius of the semicircle. What is the radius of the semicircle? 5.15 minus BC was 1 centimeter, right? So it would be 4.15 centimeters would be the length of DB. Now if I have to find BE, according to Pythagoras theorem, since triangle BDE is a right angle triangle, BE is perpendicular, right? So length of BE will be equal to under root of DE square minus DB square, right? So this would be under root of 515 whole square minus 415 whole square, right? If I use the identity a minus b multiplied by a plus b, which is equal to what? A square minus b square. I am using that identity here. So this would be under root of 5 plus 5.15 plus 4.15 multiplied by 5.15 minus 4.15, which is equal to under root of 9.3 multiplied by 1, which is equal to under root of 9.3, which is why the perpendicular in this triangle represents under root of 9.3. I hope you all have understood this. Though the reasoning won't be asked in the question in your exams, but you should know why are we doing it like this, following this procedure. Next question we have to do is rationalize the denominators of the following. We are given 4 parts. You have to rationalize the denominators of these. Let's start with the first one. We have 1 upon root 7. What did we learn? We are going to multiply the numerator and denominator both by root 7. We are going to multiply both the numerator and denominator by root 7 so that we get the denominator as a rational number. 1 into root 7 is root 7. Root 7 into root 7 is what? Root 49. 49 is square of 7. So the answer I am going to get is root 7 by 7. The denominator has come out to be a rational number, so we are done. Let's move to the next one. The next part I have is 1 upon root 7 minus root 6. Now how do we rationalize numbers like these? We keep the numbers same, only change the sign of the between the numbers. Here we have negative, we are going to put a positive sign. Plus root 6. The answer what I am going to get? Root 7 plus root 6. The denominator has same numbers but different signs in the bracket. So after using the identity, it is 7 square minus, root 7 square minus root 6 whole square. The identity we have used is a plus b and minus b is equal to a square minus b square. So the answer will become, this will become under root 7 plus root 6 upon root 7 into root 7 is 7 minus square of root 6 is 6. So this becomes root 7 plus root 6 upon 1. The denominator became a rational number, so the rationalization of the denominator for this part was successful, of course. Let's move to the third part, which is 1 upon under root of 5 plus root 2. Now again, to rationalize this, what are we going to do? We are going to multiply it with the same numbers but with the opposite sign. What is opposite of plus? Minus. So we are multiplying both numerator and denominator by root 5 minus root 2. So this becomes, what does this become? Root 5 minus root 2. Denominator mein again it will be the same property, which is root 5 whole square minus root 2 whole square. Again, following a plus b multiplied by a minus b is equal to a square minus b square. So this becomes root 5 minus root 2. What is square of root 5? 5. Square of root 2 is 2. So this becomes root 5 minus root 2 upon 3. I hope it is clear till here. These questions are very easy. Once you understand how to rationalize, it would be very easy to solve these questions. The fourth part we have here is 1 upon under root of 7 minus 2. 1 upon under root of 7 minus 2. Again, following the same procedure, we are multiplying it with the same numbers but with opposite sign. So it will become, minus would become positive. We are multiplying it by root 7 plus 2. So what does it become? Root 7 plus 2 upon, again using the same identity, a plus b, a minus b, we are doing it. It becomes a square minus b square, root 7 whole square minus 2 square, which is root 7 plus 2 upon root 7 square is 7 and 2 square is 4. So this becomes root 7 plus 2 upon 7 minus 4, which is 3. I hope you have everybody has understood till here. If not, you can write in the comment section